Mrs. Davis, and this is my channel, Happy Place to Grow. I am so glad you are here. Welcome to a space where learning can happen through lots of fun and creative activities, and we're going to do this learning together. So thanks for joining me to stretch your knowledge. Don't forget to like this video, to share this channel with all your friends and family members so they can have fun learning also. Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Davis. I am so glad you are joining me here today. We're thinking about the month of January. I've got my snowflake apron on. Let it snow. Hey, has it snowed where you live? Not here in North Carolina where I live yet, but I'm hoping, because one of the fun things I love to do is to have a snowball fight. You know, where you gather up the snow. If it's packing snow, of course, it's got to be wet for sure, but not too wet. And then you round it into a sphere and throw it. Well, to get us in the mood for so much fun and snowball activities, I think that we should join snowball fun with math skills. You know, I know a lot of you are on winter break. You're taking a break from school, but you know, learning should never take a break. We should always be stretching and growing. We don't want to get rusty and dusty, so when we go back to school, we'll have to start over from scratch. This activity is going to be fun. It's going to involve numbers from 1 to 100, and we might even go past 100. We're going to be thinking about snowballs, snow people, and we're going to be putting snowballs in order from the least to the greatest. So we'll be thinking about numbers. Now, when you think about numbers, we have to think about place value. So if we have single digit numbers, we call those numbers in the ones. You're counting by ones. You're counting in ones. But when you collect a certain number of ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, when you add that 10th number or digit, then we group or bundle that group of 10 into a little group known as a 10. So we've got our ones, our tens, and then you keep counting by tens and ones until you get to another collection, 100, and you can group that up. So we'll be thinking about place value. Ones are small, a group of 10, and then a group of 100. So we'll be using those place value helpers to help us sequence and order numbers from least to greatest. I'm going to start off easy, and if you have a 100 chart or 120 chart and you need to refer back to it for your sequencing to help you decide which number comes first before another, then you can always refer back to your 100 board. That's definitely a number line that is put into a little organized chart so that you can easily find and identify greatest or least values. Okay, here we go. I've got some numbers on my board, a collection. I'm thinking about 1, 4, 3, 5, 6, and 2, and I want to find of those the least. This should be pretty easy for you mathematicians out there. Of course, let's start at the very beginning. Number 1, and I'm going to put that over here. 1. Okay, well, we know if we're counting by ones, singles, the next number in that sequence is 2. I'm starting off easy, kids, because we want to warm up the brains. You have been on break for a little while. Then 3, then 4, then 5. Oops, I've got an extra one. Let's put him down there. Then 6. Yeah, that was pretty easy. I think my dog could even do that one, right? Could yours? Uh-huh. So we're putting numbers in order from least to greatest. That was pretty easy. I didn't need my 100 chart to help me there. Let's move up a little bit. Let's get another series of numbers. Got 22. Oh, we're in double digits. So we've got a group of 10s and we've got 1s. So we'll have to be looking at both place values when we're putting these numbers in order from least to greatest. So 22, 19, 21, 20, and 18. Of those numbers, which is the least? All right, so I'm looking in the tens position. I see some 2s, 2 10s. I know that one group of 10 is smaller than 2 groups of 10. So I'm definitely going to eliminate the 20s. And then I'm going to be comparing 19 and 18. They both have one group of 10 in the tens position. So I'm going to go to the ones position. 8 ones is smaller than 9 ones. So 18 is first. And then if I'm counting up, 19 is the next number. Once I get my first number in position, if I have all the numbers in order, it's going to be pretty easy to sequence. 19. Now we've added one more 1 and made an extra group of 10. So now we have 2 10s and 0 1s in the number 20. Let's add another 1. We're keeping our 2 10s, but we're adding another 1. And then 22 is built with 2 10s and 2 1s. See how the ones position is getting bigger by 1 1? That helps me when I'm thinking about comparing numbers. So far, so good. Let me take those down. Let's move up a little bit. Let's get a little bit larger with our digits. 75, 79. We're going way up on the chart. 78, 76, and 77. Now on this 100 chart, I can see that the 70s are down here if I needed to refer back to those to double check my answers. Well, this group is going to be easy because all of these numbers have 7 10s. So I'm not going to have to compare my 10s position. I'm going to have to be looking in my ones position, and I see that 5 1s is the least. So 7 10s and 5 1s, 70 plus 5 or 75 is the smallest in this group. And then I'm adding one more 1, 76. So 75, 76, 77. The tens position is not changing. We're not adding another group of 10. We're just adding 1 1. So you can see that ones position is getting larger by 1 1, 75, 76, 77, 78, and 79. What would come next if we kept counting? 79. We're adding another 1, so we're going to make another group of 10. So now we would be in the 80s, and we would start our sequencing there. Oh, wow. Well, you're doing great. And that's pretty easy if you're sequencing and everything's in order. You're just going up by 1 1. But what if we get a little trickier? What if we skip a few numbers and we don't have a total 1 by 1 sequence? Let's try this. 25, 29, 32, 27, and 39. You know, the skill that we're working on is sequencing from least to greatest. That's pretty easy if you're going in order and you're counting and just adding 1 1. But what if we have to skip a few numbers to get to the next largest number? So if I'm evaluating these numbers, the first place I'm going to be looking is not the ones position. but the tens positions, because tens are larger than ones. So if I'm looking for the smallest number in this collection, I have to look in the tens position. 3 tens is larger than 2 tens. So I'm going to move those guys over to the side because I know that those of these two, not the least. Now, all of these numbers, these 3, are built with 2 tens. So now I'm going to move over to the ones position. Got 9 ones, 7 ones, 5 ones. I know the number 5 is the smallest of these 3. It's smaller than 7. It's smaller than 9. Because when I'm counting by ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I get to it first. 6, 7, 8, 9. So 25 is the least in this collection. I'm still here. I'm not going to go to the 30s because 3 tens is larger than 2 tens. 27, because if I'm counting forward, 25, 26, 27 would be next. 28, 29. Now I'm going to hit the 30s. I don't have the number 30 or 31, but 32 is available. And then finally, well, it's the only one left, 39. So thinking about your place value, tens versus ones, is going to help you organize and sequence numbers from least to greatest, because even though 2 is smaller than 7, it's not going to go over here because we're thinking about the position of the number. That's what gives it its value. So that's definitely what we're going to use as a tool to help us when we're thinking about least to greatest, or which number is the biggest, which one has more, right? Okay, let's do something fun. What if I'm thinking about the 100 chart and I'm thinking about the way it's organized? It goes, if you're going across horizontally, you're going to go in order. It's like a number line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Every row ends in a group of 10 when you get to that 10th number. So 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, and so forth. But you can also look at a 100 chart by going vertical. If I go down, I can think about skip counting by tens, because all of those tens are in this column: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So let's see if we can order a group of tens, our tens, numbers in the tens, counting by tens. Got 60, 80, 40. We're going to go beyond 5 numbers because we are so smart. 30, 90, 70, 50, 100. Let's see if we can organize these by skip counting by 10. I don't have the number 10. Skip it. What comes after 10 if I'm counting by tens? 10, 20. I don't have a 20. Remember, we're still going least to greatest. You can do this with all kinds of number sequencing numbers, so have fun with it. But I do have a 30. Again, I'm thinking about the tens position because all of these counting by tens, skip counting by tens, sequencing numbers have a 0 in the ones position. 10, 20, 30, 40. 3 tens is smaller than 4 tens. How about the next one? Then 5 tens. So 30, 40, 50, 60. Look at your tens position. 3 tens, 4 tens, 5 tens, 6 tens. There's a pattern. I know what's next. Do you know? 7 tens or 70. Let's keep going. What comes after 70? 80. 8 tens. Look at that. 3 tens, 4 tens, 5 tens, 6 tens, 7 tens, 8 tens. If I'm thinking about numbers and their values and their orders, it's still that same counting pattern as our ones. 9 tens comes next. And finally, 10 tens or 100. We've added another place value. We've got our ones, we've got our tens, and we've got our hundreds. In the number 100, we have 0 tens to build it, or 0 ones, 0 tens. But we've collected 10 tens into a group of 100. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now, let's challenge our brains one more time and one more sequencing from least to greatest. We're going to go beyond 100. So, again, we're sharpening our brain. We have added a place value. We have 3 positions. We've got our ones, our tens, and our hundreds. So when we're thinking about which one's the least, we're going to go to that 3rd position. All of these numbers are going to have one group of 100, so that's going to be easy. Then we're going to go to the next position, our tens position, right? And then finally our ones position. We have to look at 3 values. We've got 105. We've got 101. We've got 103, kind of mixing them up. We've got 104 and 102. So let's just line these guys up here. I'm looking at the hundreds position. I don't have, that's a no-brainer there. All of these are numbers that have one group of 100. I'm looking in the tens position. This makes my life a lot easier. There are 0 tens to look at. So now I'm going to scallywag over here to the ones position. And then I'm going to be able to order these from the least to the greatest when I have numbers higher than 100. Yeah. All right. So which is the smallest? Let's look in the ones position because these are all the same value here. They all have 10 tens. See the 10 in there? 10 tens. So 5, 3, 1, 4, 2, which is the least? Yeah, 1 is the least. So 101 is the least of these 5 numbers. Then if I'm counting up and I'm adding 1, 102 would be next. I know you know what comes after that. This is so easy once we have the pattern, once we have the knowledge, once we're using our place value. 103, you got it. 104 comes next. And of this series of numbers, these 5 numbers, 105 is the greatest number of these 5. Wow, we are so amazing. So talented. We ordered our numbers from least to greatest using the power of place value. And that's a wrap because I just threw my snowballs down on the ground. Number sequencing, snowball style is over. I want you to practice some sequencing in your space at your house during winter break. You can draw some circles and challenge yourself and see if you can order your numbers or even quiz your brothers or sisters or friends or mom and dad and put your numbers in order from least to greatest. And then get out there and play before you have to go back to school. All right, kids? This has been so much fun. I'm glad you joined me. And as always, keep the learning going and have a good one.